Hello and thank you for watching. I'm Heather Forgan of stampwithnellie.com and I'm taking part in another Stamp Around UK video hop today with lots of lovely fellow Stampin' Up independent demonstrators who are all based in the UK. There's a list of all of their links in the description bar below, so please make sure that you check them all out. I'm sure you'll get lots of fabulous inspiration. Our theme for November 2020 is geometric. So that gave me a fabulous opportunity to play with the stitched triangle dies, and I have used them to create this card. There's no rhyme or reason to this. It kind of looks a bit like I've just thrown lots of triangles onto the paper, and that's pretty much what I have done. Some of them are on dimensionals and some of them are intertwined, so I will show you how I made this card. In this one I have used Night of Navy, Mango Melody and Basic Grey. So essentially I've got two neutrals and one bright. So I'm sticking with that contrast of the two neutrals and one bright, and I'm changing out the Mango Melody for Bermuda Bay. So I've already gone ahead and prepped my card base. So my card is 21 centimetres by 14.5 centimetres, and I've scored the long side at 10.5 centimetres, and my insert is 10 by 14 centimetres, which is the same size as the Bermuda Bay layer for the front. I've also cut a piece of Whisper White card that is 9.5 by 13.5 centimetres, and I have used this straight die from the set and simply just lined that up, making sure that I had an equal distance at that end and that end when I ran it through my cut and emboss machine. I purposely did that in advance because obviously you get lots of little white triangles there, and they have a tendency to go everywhere, so I thought I would just do that in advance. I've also done some of the prep for the other triangles, but I will show you what I did with those. So I'm just going to bring in my cut and emboss machine. So there are three different types of triangles in the Stitched Triangles dies. So you've got your right angle one. And so basically I'm using a larger one and a smaller one in the middle. Doesn't have to be precise. Then you've got your isosceles. I hope that's right. It's been a long time since I did geometry at school. That'll do. And our equilateral triangle. So I'm just making sure that I've got an even gap between the larger one and the smaller one, and placing on my top plate nice and gently so that I don't move them, and then I can wind that through. So this is a great way of using up scraps of card, or you could do it with designer series paper as well if you wish to do that. And it's actually pretty effective but pretty easy too. So that's me finished my die cutting, so I'm just going to pop these out of the way. And you could be even more careful with your cardstock and make sure you've got everything lined up to get the absolute maximum out of your card, but that's close enough for me. So I've cut all three of those in my three different colours. So I went ahead and did the smoky slate. I changed the basic grey to smoky slate as well. I forgot to tell you that. And I'm just going to put these dies away so you can see which ones that I used. So for these ones I didn't use the smallest one because I kind of thought it was a little bit too fiddly to use. But for the other two I did use the two smallest out of the sets for them. Would have been easier to put the bigger one in first. There we go. And that's them. I can put that away so I don't lose any of them. It's amazing how quickly I can lose things on a desk. So I'm going to bring in my white layer here, and I'm going to do a similar design from this one because I know that it kind of fits in on the page. So I'm going to use these two. So when I did these ones, I did think about just lining them through like that, but I didn't really like it. So what I did was I snipped one of them, so that I could actually put them together, and it looks a bit more natural, I suppose, or authentic, maybe better word for it. So just putting a little bit of wet glue there and gluing down the two ends of the piece that I cut. Okay, so that one I did that way, and this one I did actually just tuck through like that when I put that one on. So just a little bit of mix and match, popping them up on dimensionals, and just building up your picture. So I think I'll put that one and actually put the little one in the middle, just the same as I did with that. No right or wrong on any of this, obviously. It's a design. You can do what you like. Get creative with it. You could let them overhang the background and snip off any excess as well. So I'm just trying to make sure that I've got room for all of the bigger bits, and then I can overlay some of those. So this one I'm going to put down just with glue. I'm just going to bring in my silicone mat just in case I get messy. And put that one down in there. Okay. And this one I shall glue out in the outside first of all. And then put the centre in. Okay. This one I'm going to pop up on dimensionals, but obviously there's not a huge amount of space on there. So I'm going to bring in my mini dimensionals and I'll put them on the larger parts that I can. And I'm okay with that bit not being supported, but this bit needs to be supported. So I'm bringing in my sticky scissors. I have one pair of scissors that I use for chopping up bits of dimensionals, because you do get a bit of residual adhesive on there. So I always use the edge of my sheets of dimensionals. You might call me mean, I call me thrifty. I don't mind. I quite happily live up to the Scottish stereotype of being mean and getting the best for your money. I think I will, because I've got this here, I will just cut a tiny bit off there to stick on that bit as well. It is a bit fiddly, but it's worth it so you don't end up getting bits too squished before the person actually gets the chance to see the card in all its glory. So now you can see how I kind of put this together, and I'm happy to let those bits overlap on there as well. So I think I'll pop this one on just with glue, and it's popping slightly underneath that one, which is cool as well. Quite like that. So bear with me while I glue on these bits, and I'll come back to show you the rest in a moment. Okay, so I've glued most of the larger parts down on there, and I'm just going to randomly mix up these other bits and pop them on with dimensionals. So I've got the larger dimensionals as well, and again I can cut a little bit of a strip that's maybe a bit wide with those good old sticky scissors. I love my snips. My snips are my go-to scissors for paper and card, obviously, but I like to protect them as much as I possibly can, so that I get the best out of them. The mini dimensionals are perfect for these smaller stitched triangles as well. So see, I'm just going to randomly place more of these around, and I'll stick some of them with dimensionals and some of them actually I think I probably do them all with dimensionals now. So hopefully you will take the time to visit all of the other YouTubers taking part in today's hop. It's so nice that Stampin' Up! Demonstrators are a community essentially, and will happily share their creativity with each other as well as with their customers. And the group that take part in this particular video hop are not really associated with each other in any other way. We're not part of the same team. We've just all got the same passion for Stampin' Up! Products and for papercraft in general, and we'll happily use any excuse to get together and get creative. So on this one, I'm going to bridge that between two that are already popped up, so I don't want to pop it up any further. So I've put a little bit of glue on there and on there, and finally I think I'll just tuck that one. Where do I want it? Where do I want it? I'll put it up in that corner there. And I'll just glue this one down as well. So, oh, moved that, didn't mean to. So there we have it. My top layer. Oops, I got to glue that one. Too busy chatting. There we are. So we have the top layer, and it is simply just now a case of gluing that, the other layers together. I'm not going to try and put glue on all of those tiny little bits. I'll just do the edge pieces there, as they are most likely to get bent, possibly. So there we are. Pop that down there. I'm going to use my cloth just in case I squeeze out any glue. There we are. Lovely. Pop this layer on. And then my sentiment comes from the Itty Bitty Greetings stamp set. I didn't want to put a big sentiment on and distract from all those lovely stitched triangles. So that's why I went with Itty Bitty. Such a versatile stamp set as well. I love the Itty Bitty Greetings and also the Itty Bitty Christmas, because no matter what you're making, you can normally find a sentiment in there that goes. So Itty Bitty Greetings is a cling stamp set, and there's two different parts of it, so there's a huge amount of stamps in there. So I'm just lining that up on my grid mat. What colour will I go for? Let's do the Bermuda Brie. Let's do the bright one this time. I did basic grey on that one there. So I have a little scrap here. Happy birthday. And I'm going to use my classic label punch to punch that out and get the width that I want. But obviously it's going to be too long, and I don't particularly want those ends, because I want this to be a rectangle because we're geometric. So just use my snips to chop that down like that, and I have a little piece of Night of Navy. Pop that in the corner with a good gap round about. Bring in my mini guillotine. Yeah, not quite. And just trim that. So it's a little bit wider at the bottom than I would want. I will be brave and just snip it. Really ought to put my glasses on when I do things like that. So, bring back my sticky. Is that white? Ooh, that is. And get the most out of the edge of my dimensionals, mini dimensionals again. And oh, that's just a tad too long. There we go. And that's why I didn't pop up some of these ones at the bottom. Now I could put it along the middle, or I'm going to stick with along the side there. You could do this in absolutely any colour. So if you've got scraps of your cardstock in your friend's favourite colours, then why not use them along with the stitched triangle dies to create a funky birthday card. I hope you've enjoyed that. As I say, this is part of the Stamp Around UK video hop, so please click on the description bar below to get links to all of the other demonstrators that are taking part in this hop. There will also be a link to my blog so that you can see all of the products and the measurements again in case you missed them. If you've enjoyed this video, then please give me a thumbs up. I'd love to read a comment, and if you're not already a subscriber, then please click on that button too. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next time, take care. Bye bye.